It's a news media. We also have Mr. Benton and the crew. They actually film all the school board meetings, so we are taped. Anyway, so when you come up to speak, you have to come to the podium. So, and it's 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone, for attending Penn Trafford School Board's Superintendent's Informational Committee meeting for Monday, March the 5th, 2018. We will start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to start with item number 3. We're going to go directly to information. Dr. Harris.
All right, first of all, we have the Students of the Month. Every year, this is the best time of the month where we honor a student from the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school. And we're going to start with the winner from McCullough.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. I'd like to introduce the Elementary Student Month from McCullough Elementary School, 5th grader, Serafina Promozic. Serafina, if you would, they put this here so you can't even see it. You got like that name, stand on the ground. There you go. Serafina is the daughter of John and Serafina Promozic. Serafina has 3 older brothers, John and Santino, twins in 6th grade at Penn Middle, and Michael in 9th grade here at the high school. When speaking with Serafina's parents, they inform me that she is just an all-around happy kid. They let me know that she really enjoys being around her family the most. This includes being with her 3 brothers that at times can be torturous, but ultimately priceless. She enjoys visiting her grandma and pap, as well as spending time with the family dog Buttercup. When Serafina is not spending time with the family, she really enjoys competitive gymnastics and participates at the Allison Biondi's gymnastics facility. Speaking with Serafina's teachers, they stated that she has made a seamless transition moving into the district this school year. She has been welcomed by the student body, and if you didn't know it, you'd have thought she'd have been at McCullough her entire school career, the teacher said. The teachers also noted that Serafina is a well-rounded student that strives for excellence in all her work. She loves both math and science. She shows up every day with a smile on her face and goes beyond to achieve success in all that she does. Speaking with Serafina, she said her favorite subject is math, and she really enjoys working with numbers. Science is another subject that she looks forward to. However, what she likes most is just being at Penn Trafford. Serafina enjoys hanging out with her classmates, and she was quick to tell me that she really enjoys being around her brothers, even though they do give her a hard time. She said this jokingly, of course. As for outside interests, it's all about gymnastics and playing with family dog Buttercup. Serafina's can-do attitude and infectious smile are sure to make her a success in all her undertakings. Her future is bright and full of potential, which make her the perfect student for this ward. Congratulations, Serafina.
Next, we have, I'm sorry.
Is there anything going on at your school you want to tell us about?
Nothing goes on at school, does anything, Mr. Matarazzo? Actually, a lot. Busy time of year. Just finished Read Across America with Dr. Seuss last week. Spring pictures were today. Students and staff working on 3-act lessons. Currently working on the upcoming testing window, which none of us like to talk about. The reality is we all talk about. Westmoreland Credit Union's coming in Thursday for their Little Savers program. A lot going on with instruction, though. But thank you. Appreciate everything.
Thank what you're doing. Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Simpson for the Penn Middle.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. Brandon, can you come on up? I'd like to introduce Brandon Carter. He's an 8th grader at Penn Middle School. He's the son of Jason and Stephanie Carter of Harrison City. He has a sister, Lacey, a fifth grader at Harrison Park Elementary School. His mom and dad share that he enjoys playing baseball, swimming, playing with his dog Thomas, and going to the zoo. He loves learning about history and exploring caves. Mammoth Cave is his favorite. Brandon loves all animals and wants to pursue a career in zoology. Brandon has a kindred spirit. Once you meet him, it's hard to forget him. He is kind and genuinely expresses his concern for others, and it shows in his everyday actions. He's a very easygoing young man, and we are so thankful to have him as a part of our lives. His mom goes on to share that with the help of his family, he's overcome a number of obstacles from when he was a young toddler. His story is very inspirational to his teachers and his parents and his principal, which I didn't know until she shared with me. His mom and dad are extremely humbled by this award and recognition, and so very proud of him. His sister Lacey says they play regular and video games together, and they both enjoy taking care of Thomas, their Shepherd Retriever mix. Although it sounds like mom and dad do the caretaking and they do the playing. They get along very well, better than most brothers and sisters, and I actually believe that. Lacey says Brandon's best quality is his kindness to others, and Brandon's a true gentleman. His teachers say he's a wonderful student and a respectful young man, never speaking out of turn, and will patiently wait to be heard. He thoughtfully composes his thoughts before making a response. He always tells me to have a good day and waits for me to leave the room before him. Such a gentleman. I can't think of a more deserving young man for the Student of the Month. Brandon is a pleasant and hardworking young man, diligent in the classroom, and always looks to go the extra mile. His relationship with his peers is exceptional, as seen by the spontaneous clapping when Mr. Simpson announced the award. He won the award. He exceeds, here we go. Brandon goes above and beyond every day when he's in class. He exceeds all expectations that are required of him. He's extremely polite and kind to both teachers and peers. He helps other students in need and encourages their peers to do their very best. I've seen this in action. Brandon's like another teacher in the room sometimes. He's very supportive of his friends, and that is such a quality. I can't say how proud I am of him. Brandon's one of the most polite students. Again, polite, kindness, courtesy. If you watch it, when he got up, I don't know if everybody saw it, he had to put his chair back in. That's the kind of young man he is. He goes out of his way every day to say good morning, goodbye, and has a pleasant demeanor. He's a hard worker and does the best with any task presented to him. I've enjoyed Brandon for the past 2 years, and I will miss him. Brandon Carter, congratulations, buddy.
Mr. Simpson, anything?
Yes. Last week we had a tech assembly where we had a counselor from CWCTC, Central West Woodland Career Technology Center, come and just introduce. It's a 6th, 7th, 8th grade program. Introduce it to the 6th, maybe the 7th graders talk about it. But the 8th grader, she spends a little bit more time talking about possible shops they'd like to get into. This week, tomorrow, we have a one-man volleyball assembly. This gentleman's going to play our girls' teams, and heard it's very good. He's got a very inspirational story, too. Wednesday, it's our End the R Word activities. We've got some band field trips this week. Next week, we have the March PTO meeting with a parent coffee on social media afterwards. A little bit later, we have the spring break coming up at the end of the month, and as Mr. Morasti said, we have some testing going on next month. Thank you, Dr. Harris. Thank you, Mr. Morado.
Thank you so much. And finally, we have our high school winner, and Mr. Aquillo.
All right, thank you, Dr. Harris. I would like to congratulate junior Antonio DeMarcus for coming on up. He's being named Student of the Month for the high school. He's joined this evening with his parents, John and Lisa, and 2 brothers, Dominic and John. We appreciate all that you've done as a family to help support Antonio over the years. Antonio plans on pursuing a future in possibly electrical engineering at potential schools such as CMU, Penn State, Pitt, one of those top schools. He's currently taking 5 AP and college-level courses as a junior, and that's pretty remarkable, as his GPA puts him in the top 20 of his class as a junior. He was also named the Noble Warrior in 9th grade by our STEAM department. Antonio is extremely busy with all of the activities here at PT. He is the president of the PT Students for Life, chairman of the Kentucky Project through our CAP program. He is a member on the National Honor Society, academic quiz team, and robotics team, which I'll put a little plug in there for you guys. You guys have 4 teams, I believe, going to the state finals here in the near future. So keep an eye on those teams. They're doing a great job this year. Outside of school, his community service includes volunteering at St. Barbara's on various projects and festivals, helping at the Level Green's Lions Club, Community Women's Club for Level Green, and the Westmoreland Community Food Bank. It's very impressive they can keep up with all that community service while keeping a rigorous schedule here at school, grades above a 4.4, which is tremendous for any student. What makes Antonio stand out, though, is the way he shows initiative. The one activity that I didn't mention earlier is that he is the founder and president of the Penn Trafford High School Math Club. Last year, Antonio came to me a couple of times asking if he could start this club, and at first I didn't quite know what to think. I didn't know how many kids would really volunteer and want to do more math, but to my surprise, there's actually a lot of kids out there that are always looking at things mathematically, strategically, and want to solve the world's problems mathematically. So it was a great idea. He took the reins, collected all the data and survey information. Went out looking for teachers to help volunteer and sponsor that event. And as of this year, we now have an established math club here at the high school. So we thank him for getting that off the ground. On top of that, with that math club, he kind of took it a step forward and got us involved in the MAA, which is the Math Association of America, and got us signed up for a very impressive test called the American Mathematics Competition. And basically what this test is, it's pretty difficult. I looked through it after the kids were done, and it was a foreign language to myself. But basically that test registers, and students that do well enough nationally can then move on to the actual U.S. National Olympiad of Mathematics and compete for the U.S. So it's a pretty extensive test. He had over 20 students take the exam, and I'm happy to announce, and I don't think Antonio knows this, out of all the kids taking it for Penn Trafford, I got the scores back yesterday, and he actually scored higher than any other student at Penn Trafford, so congratulations on that as well. Things his teachers say about him: he's an exemplary student, his thirst of knowledge cannot be matched, he works hard to finish things early so he has time to further explore his interests, goes above and beyond in his class regularly. He shows a true love of learning and a desire that goes beyond the surface level of understanding. Antonio is both inquisitive and humble, which we all know is very difficult to find in any student nowadays. One of the very few students who scored a 5, which is the top score on the AP World History exam last year as a sophomore. And the final quote is, "I often catch him reading our extremely dry physics textbook just for fun during his free time." So congratulations, Antonio. It's an honor.
Mr. Coyle, anything going on at the high school?
A couple things, I guess. Looking forward to the spring musical in April for Greece. So if you haven't bought your tickets, make sure you get your tickets for that. Again, our robotics team is moving on to state finals with 4 different teams. We have a mock trial team who's also going to the district finals later this week, and hopefully they can move on to the state finals out east. We have an assembly coming up. Our Staff Sergeant Mills, he's a motivational speaker, actor, author, and an advocate for veterans and amputees. He was injured while being in the military, and he speaks on behalf of the veterans as a motivational speaker. So we're looking forward to having him sometime in April. And that's it for the high school.
Thank you so much. And at this time, if we can get a picture with all 3 of our winners.
Yeah.
For the newspaper?
He's pretty good.
Aaron, do you want to get
You might mention that. Yeah, we should.
take a couple?
Yeah.
Well, there's not. This one right here. I want to see where that person goes.
Playing against anybody. They're going to make it at the high school.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a good attitude.
All right, next we have our student representative, Colton Bukowski. Is there grace practice tonight, Colton? Yes. All right, thank you for coming down during the practice.
Okay, so there's not a completely large amount of things going on at PTSD. We did get a couple new clubs in our school. Let's see, we got the recycling club, the Random Acts of Kindness club, the mental health club, and I'm blanking on the fourth. 3 of those clubs that were started by Eliza Orlick. She is in my grade and she's in actually 7 of my 8 classes. We have had more. I think that was either last week or 2 weeks ago. I don't remember actually. But it was a success. Over 100 kids attended that. And mock trial team, as stated, is going to go on Thursday against Greensburg Salem. It's our plaintiff against their defense. We're hoping to get some revenge for last year because they're the people who knocked us out last time. So we're going to get our trophy back. And then if we win that, we're going to Blair County on Saturday to play whoever wins in that district. And other than that, the SATs are in the school on Saturday, and I'll be taking them then.
Is that your first time
Yes.
taking it? Oh, good luck. How many kids are taking it?
I'm not completely sure about
Not
that.
sure. Tony?
There's about 140 signed up to take it here. Not all our school, but about 100 of our kids.
Okay. And last year, actually, congratulations to the high school. You did beat your previous year's score, the composite. They give you like an average score of all your students taking it, and you did improve it. So keep it up.
We're working hard at it.
Anything else?
Any questions?
Yeah, what part are you playing in Greece?
Roger.
You can give us a preview if you like.
If we want to, we could possibly get some musical kids down here one day. Give us one.
Yeah,
One.
that'll be fine.
Okay.
Thanks, Colton.
Thanks, Colton. Under special reports, I jumped over to get to student of the month. IU7, Mr. Leonard, do you have anything to report?
Just the stuff that we were talking about a little bit with the bark.
Okay.
We were talking about, we mentioned executive session, bark communications.
And we were working to the BARC. We've been also talking about safety tonight earlier, and we will make sure I look into it. It's
Yeah.
one of the systems that the IU is kind of pushing for reporting incidents. We have a couple other things we're looking at for safety too, and I'll share during information. Career Tech, Mr. Petrucci.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. We met on February 21st. One of the first things we discussed was starting a special education pilot program to work with the kids, give them training, apprenticeship training, different shops, and 23 shops in the building, and put them out their senior year for senior careers. And 4 days a week they would go on a job, and 1 day a week they'd stay in school for theory. This is what I taught Normal Senior High for 36 years, and they've asked me for suggestions. I've given them to them, and we're relying on a Perkins grant because initially it's going to cost us $159,000, and I think it's on the right track right now. I'll know more, I hope, in a couple months. New pickup truck, 3/4 ton. It's with a four-wheel drive. The bid is $39,000 from Kenny Ross. TriStars is $37,000. We upgraded to a full-ton pickup truck for $39,600 from TriStars. And we went from 3 trucks down to 1, saving $6,000. And I also brought up one other thing, too, for everybody here that I want to thank my fellow board members who went to the Christmas feast. It worked out so nice. And, of course, this ugly, terrible incident in Florida brought everybody with the security. And believe it or not, down there, we only have one road. It's dead end. And that's, I brought it up, and I want Dr. Harris to mention to the superintendent's meeting. I'm going to bring up next month, our meeting, March 21st. And right across the street from us is Stanwood Elementary. That's Hempfield Elementary School. Has approximately, I'm saying, 500 kids in it. And our building has 500 kids in the morning, 500 kids in the afternoon, so you have 1,000 kids. If we were to have an incident, there's nothing. It's absolutely terrible. There's no access. You would have it would be chaotic. It would, that road used to go all the way through, and now I put a cul-de-sac there, and it's a dead end. And, you know, we need more than one, to be honest with you. You know what it'd be like with the parents would be coming, it'd just be emergency vehicles, it'd be unbelievable. So I'm going to start pushing that. I hope the superintendent start pushing for that. And the access road here too, also in this building, but we can discuss that next week when the police chiefs come in. But that's going to be a top priority for me. I'm going to push as much as I can, and hope we can split the cost some way with Hempfield School District, because Stanwood is, those of you who went to the beautiful feast that the kids prepared, it's just right across the street. There's no, it would be, and they only have one outlet too, same outlet we have, and that would be difficult. And our budget for next year is almost $8.3 million, and that's, it's almost comparative this year here. We've cut back, we did a lot of in-house stuff with the same as Mr. Nemick and Tony, Ms. Zissing. With negotiation, we kept everything in-house, we settled all the contracts, and we did not go out and pay big bucks for a negotiator. Okay, but the budget is same as last year, approximately $8.3 million. That's all I have, Mr. President, Dr. Harris.
Our career tech, we did actually decrease, even though we increased students.
Yes.
A lot of other districts increased their students too, so it kept the overall cost down. So even though we have more kids going to career tech, it's actually costing us a little bit less money, which doesn't usually happen for the budget, so I appreciate
the
that.
enrollment went up 50 kids, I believe. I think it went up 50 kids. And next meeting is March 31st. 21st, sorry, 21st.
Petrucci? This board, we did have an executive session prior to tonight's meeting to hear from the attorney advisory on negotiations and personnel issues. We also received information regarding school safety measures. One other note before I turn it over to Dr. Harris. It was kind of a sad thing that happened over the weekend, and kind of an end of an era. We have our own board member here, Nick Petrucci, who's a tremendous individual. I'm very happy to serve on the board with him.
Lay off.
28 years, well, I think it's worth mentioning, Nick, there's not too many people nowadays who put themselves ahead of them, or, you know, put themselves out like you do for their community. Just to let you guys know, 28 years that he ran the Trafford auction to raise money for the Trafford Rec Association. I don't know how much money, and I'm sure he can spend a few seconds telling us all the money he's raised and all the playgrounds he's updated, but all in his own time, with his own effort. And I just wanted to take a second out as myself, as a fellow member of the community, to thank him for his service, all those hours away from his own family, and nothing for himself. It was all for everybody else. So, Nick, thank you.
Phil, you overkill. I want to, that's very kind, and this young man right over here has been so great. No, right behind you.
Behind you.
Mr. Charles Boring, there's two groups I always thank. I always thank the school district, phenomenal. Never charge a penny for storage, labor, the dumpster. Of course, I do get rid of a lot of stuff that is, they donate. This example, to be honest with you, this year here, we had the fluorescent lights from this building here, all the renovation. We had 7 pallets of them, and we got rid of we did get rid of the fluorescent lights, and we also had a big, beautiful, used food cart, a heating and a cooling cart, and we got rid of that for the district also. But first of all, district, been great. Tell you the truth, your dad gave a call, and it was very kind of him. And he was superintendent when we started it, and also with the BY project, he was superintendent, and he very, very cooperative. And Chip's paper, phenomenal. I called him, I had a tear in my eye about what he wrote was just excellent. But now this completes it. I put down the challenges over. The 5 playgrounds are done, as well as all the other playgrounds. And now we should have additional money. I was going to stop this last year. I didn't stop it last year in case the 2 big words, and these young fellows are always here, in case the word change orders comes up. I want a little bit extra insurance for change orders, and of course, this year we made $7,600, and that will cover any change orders we possibly have coming up. And this will be done, but my old body, my wife's health, I'm 75 years old, and it's no more. If I mean, I could possibly squeeze another year if I had to, but I definitely do not plan on it. And it worked out well, but I want to tell you something. I have some great volunteers. If I would call them next year, they'd be there. And anybody's been down there to see it, how well it's done, and Dr. Harris started this year, and Chip takes all kind of beautiful pictures, and the Boy Scouts from Level Green are just excellent. They come, and those young legs, what do they save you running? They run stuff out to the car, down the end of the hallway, they help people load, and it's a great team effort. They always say there's no I in team. That is absolutely correct. But it's been great. It started very small in the hallway of the school, then went to the auditorium. The auditorium was too small, and they kept on expanding. Chip Boring, he couldn't cover it any better than what he did. And it was just, it worked out good. And unfortunately, my old buddy Carlisle Lloyd, who's the auctioneer, lived in Level Green, started with us on this. And he was there every year except this year. And Carlisle was in the hospital. He couldn't make it. But it worked out very well, and all the kids in Trafford will have all new playgrounds with no Trafford tax dollars involved at all. And before I give it up, I have one more plan for a nice big project down at BY. But that was, it worked out very well in the school district. I can't thank them enough, and it's been very nice, very gratifying. I'll let it go at that. I've talked enough. Thank you.
Mr. Petrucci, job well done.
Thank you.
Dr. Harris?
And I like how Chip has your article titled Going, Going, Gone.
That's how I feel my body, going, gone.
Under information, we did meet earlier to discuss school safety. Chief Otto is going to be here next week, and we're also going to be meeting with the Trafford Police and Manor Police. With every incident, we revisit our safety plans, and a couple of things we're going to be adding this year, which we got to go ahead for in the upcoming weeks, which I really appreciate the support. But we are going to be doing more of a presentation to giving you more information next week. So please come back next week if you're here tonight to learn more about what we are going to do. In addition, I know on Friday I had to send out an email because we was getting a lot of phone calls to social media that we was eliminating the specials. We are not eliminating the specials, and we never will eliminate the specials. There was a big concern for that. There was also a concern because I know I was speaking to some of the PE teachers that maybe the elementary teachers would have to take over the gym. That is not going to happen. We have existing staff. Spent Sunday night, I went over the high school schedule, the middle school schedule, the elementary schedule, and I was able to use the existing staff, what we had, to line up so we can have a certified phys ed teacher teaching PE at all 3 levels. Because I know the second concern is, well, the first concern was they was worried that we wouldn't have any specials. So I said, we're going to have specials. And then the new emails came in, they said, well, we were worried that you're going to have the elementary teachers do their own PE. So that was the second thing. So when looking at the schedules, taking the existing schedules, we should be able to have Well, we will, I'm not sure, we will be able to have PE taught by a certified phys ed teacher K to 12. So I just want to make sure that is out there. And if for some reason, I'm not sure where the rumor was that the specials were gone altogether. That was never, ever a case. We promote the music, we promote the art, we promote the PE. That was never, ever discussed. Ever. I just want to make that clear. And the second part, for the elementary gym teacher, that was discussed, but as we're looking at it, we can try to get the district-wide schedule to be fixed. So, but next week, we're going to have safety, and I'm very excited about the safety implications we're going to have for the rest of the year. So thank you. Next week, and under athletics and extracurricular, we're going to ask you to accept some resignations. Under budget and finance, we're going to ask you to approve the general operating budget for the Westmoreland IU 7 for 2018-2019. Buildings, grounds, and safety, we're going to award the contract for Penn Middle School and Sunrise School roof repairs. We won't have anything to report under employee relations, negotiations, transportation, food service. Under personnel and curriculum, we're going to ask you to approve substitute teachers and support personnel, employee personnel, accept retirement resignations, approve a termination, approve leave requests, and approve field trip requests to the Cruel Classic basketball tournament. Under policy, public relations, legislative Title II, we're going to ask you to accept and file information committee meeting minutes of February 5th, 2018. Final approval of revised board policies, attachments, and admin regulations. Tentatively approval of new and revised board policies and admin regulations. Approve to rescind policy. Appoint PSBA voting delegates for the 2017-2018 school year. And under taxes, insurance, census, we're going to ask you to exonerate tax collectors for unpaid taxes turned over to the county, not to the country, I'm sorry. After that recognition of visitors, I'll turn it back to Mr. Pachasik.
Thank you, Dr. Harris. We have now audience recognition. It is now time, okay, the following rules are in effect. You must state your name, address, and group affiliation, if any. Your statement will be limited to 5 minutes in duration. All statements shall be directed to the board president, and no participant may address or question a board member individually. I may interrupt your statement if your statement is too lengthy, personally directed, abusive, obscene, or irrelevant. So we have a list of people. The first people signed up is Lee Graves and Mike Bujakowski, if I got that correct?
Yes.
Come on down. Please step up to the mic.
Hi, we are Lee Graves and Mike Bujakowski. We are the president and past president of the Penn Trafford Bay Parent Association. We are here this evening to ask for permission.
We just need to turn your microphone on. I'm sorry.
Red
button, just push it.
That was my fault. I brought it over and I thought it was on when I lifted it.
Start over.
Yes, please. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
no problem. Hi, I'm Lee Graves, and this is Mike Bujakowski. We're the president and past president of the Penn Trafford Band Parent Association. We are here this evening to ask permission for the concert percussion ensemble to attend the WGI Winter Guard International Mideast Power Regional in Highland Heights, Kentucky on March 23rd through the 25th of this year. We would like to request that part of the bus cost and the Penske trucks to move instruments to the performances to use that we need for our championship competition in Kentucky. The regional competition that will take place in Kentucky has opportunities for the students to perform twice. For those of you that don't know our indoor percussion group that we have, it is an indoor ensemble. We do it during the winter months. A lot of the students that are in our indoor ensemble also perform in the marching band during marching season. So their schedule that they have, unlike our color guard groups that we have in the winter months, they are able to participate in regional competitions that are close to our school district that they can travel to. Our percussion group has been fortunate to win the championship or come in the top 5 or top 3 in the last 3 years, I believe.
3 years, it's past 3 years, they have gone
second place nationally from the year 2015, and 2016 and 17, they were second and third place nationally throughout the United States. The ensemble that we have this year is probably going to be doing the same thing, placing nationally up in the top 5, which is no small feat, believe me. They work extremely hard to make that happen. Our indoor percussion has only like 17 students involved in this, but with those 17 kids, it sounds like there's 27 of them. Their practice leaves them little time for anything more than just doing their homework and getting back to bed. They practice every Tuesday and Wednesday. They practice for almost 4 hours a night. And anytime that they go on these trips, as we're asking you to help let us go to, they go there first thing in the morning after breakfast. They are outside practicing. No matter what the weather conditions are, they are out there practicing. And it's whether it be for 2 or 3 hours, depending on what the time limit is that we have to be at the college that we're attending for our competition. Once they arrive at the college, they again practice. And practice again outside and inside the auditoriums. This goes on for 2 days because there's a preliminary and there's also a final. We have made both of those every time we have gone. And that was also including in Indianapolis, Richmond, Virginia, and Kentucky. And for us to compete, this ensemble is an elite group of individuals. Their concert percussion is an elite group within Pennsylvania. There isn't any other competition in Pennsylvania that can match us. That is why we need to travel to these other colleges like Kentucky and Indianapolis to compete against other elite groups. And the only way we can do that is to let our group go out to these competitions like to Kentucky and Indianapolis, because there isn't anybody else for us to compete against. It's like shadow boxing. You can swing all day, but you're never going to hit yourself. So they need to go out and compete. And they work extremely hard in trying to win these competitions. It's not a light thing. It's not a recreation weekend. They probably work harder during these weekends than they do a month in school hours. They are just drilled and drilled and drilled. So we're asking for this permission to let our percussion group go on this trip and help fund this. So if it's not possible for you to help fund for the buses, we would ask you to maybe consider letting us use the school vans to transport our students in.
No, we did approve the first one, and then we said if you win the first one, you get to go to the second one. So you're asking for the third one to be approved?
The second one, the Kentucky. I understand that you gave us permission to go if we win the first one.
Right.
Understand, though, these competitions aren't like a football game. It's not like you cross the line, you score, you win. These competitions are judged by 4 or 5 individuals who it's in their interpretation of how you're to be judged. Of course, you have to have the skills to perform with your instrument and make the sounds come out right and keep the tempo and the beats. But it's up to those 4 or 5 individuals. If they feel that they don't like what they see, they can judge you lower. If they love what they see, they can judge you higher. So it's not exactly a thing of we crossed the line, we scored. It's very tough competition. And what we're competing against is an elite group of people also. We come in Penske trucks. They come in tractor-trailer trucks decorated to the tilt with all of their pictures of their bands, what they've accomplished and everything else. I mean, they own those trucks.
To put it into perspective, to your point, Dr. Harris, this past weekend, our color guard that we have, our indoor color guard, they performed at the WGI Regional that was held at Norwin High School. And the color guard is going to another competition in a few weeks somewhere else out of the area. the color guard has competitions that they can compete in our area. So their the WGI regional that the color guard was in, and I just want a little plug for them, our high school color guard did come in 4th out of 16 groups over the weekend. They were able to compete in that regional here. The other regional, they are going elsewhere. So for our indoor percussion group, we don't have a regional that is central to us. We can't go to Norwin High School to compete.
No, because there is no other regional in Pennsylvania.
So that's why you were asking permission to go to Kentucky.
All right, Lee, I appreciate the fact that you and Mike came out and you gave us your presentation, and appreciate the fact that you guys are both volunteers. We can appreciate that ourselves. The normal procedure would be for you to present your plan to Mr. Quilio. He would review, am I wrong?
We actually did. We actually.
No, this is a new one, though.
We approved the first one. We said we would approve the second one. There was like 3 they wanted, but we actually didn't approve the third one.
Well, we chose not to take the third choice, which was going to Richmond, Virginia,
Right.
to try to save money so that we could be able to ask for this second trip. Because if during this band season, as you know, the band squeezed into one bus less for every trip that we made, for every football game, which was 8 football games, 4 band parades, which was 3 of them in the township and 1 down at the Pittsburgh for the holiday show. So we saved money all throughout the year trying to squeeze everybody into one bus less than what we normally would take, so that we would have the money to ask for these trips that we're going on, so it would be in budget. So that's why we're here now asking for this again.
Dr. Harris can certainly look into this and then report back to the board. We have our meeting next week, which we'd vote on anyway. So we appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and Dr. Harris can certainly look into what you're saying and present this information for us for a final decision.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, is there any questions that you would have
Any
about
board members have
what
any
these
questions?
children do?
Yeah, the
It
cost,
was
that's the only question.
$2,000.
What is it?
It was $2,000 you asked for each trip.
Yeah, I think it was actually 2,300. I think that's what it was.
And if the vans would be an option for us to take the students, I'm sure that would be less than the buses. I mean, we could do that, because we do have,
Yes.
with our indoor percussion, it's a smaller group. It's about 17 students.
How many days is the trip? Would it
It's a
2.
Friday to Sunday.
Friday to Sunday. We'd be home Sunday evening.
Friday morning, Friday?
Friday afternoon, after school.
Okay.
I mean, because
Are
these,
there any parents, like worried about the expense? Because I know you didn't go on your senior trip. Now, you're taking a senior trip, but you didn't do a big band trip this year because a lot of parents were unable to afford it, or?
I think that what came into play there is they're just saving for next year, because we
Okay.
have
We-
bigger plans on the books for next year.
yes.
So,
I mean, and be aware of that, whenever we go on these trips, the students all pay for their own hotel rooms, their meals, and band parents pay for any additional cost of the buses that it incurs. So, I mean, we're coming hat in hand and asking, I guess.
I have a question, Dr. Mayor, you understand, Dr. Harris. You want to use one of our PC equipment to haul your stuff? Is that what you're asking?
No, sir. We're going to get Penske trucks to move all of our equipment. We actually need to use 2 26-foot Penske trucks to haul all the instruments down.
That's a straight job, all right.
yeah.
Now,
We're asking for the vans to transport our students in,
is that our van, or is that, whose van is that?
The school vans.
School van.
school vans.
Who would drive it, man?
Like, take it.
Well,
It would be the staff,
yeah, the band
the
stuff.
band staff that would do it. We have done that in the past.
We're going to have to look into all that, Nick.
They've done it in the past. We just have to do something with our insurance.
Right.
with
Yeah,
them.
man, and that's, as long as the insurance covers it in case there's an accident, we want to make sure everything's,
Correct.
Right.
But for
Yeah,
clarification,
makes
then, you need $2,300 in addition to the use of the vans. Is that what
No,
you're
no.
asking?
Is
No,
it their
if we were going to
$2,300?
get buses, it would have been $2,300. So if that is too expensive, we're suggesting, we could use the 2 vans because it's a small group. We still need the Penske trucks to haul the equipment, but to get the students where they need to go, the two school vans would be sufficient.
So how many kids and how many adults in each van?
17.
So you would, plus 2 adults to drive.
What's it?
What's the capacity of those vans?
2,300.
Could do it.
But they're not available.
this will be on next week's agenda.
Like I said, we can discuss and
He'll
definitely
bring
get
the
back to
information
you.
back. then we
Okay.
can-
Weekend off.
Thank you, though, for bringing
All right.
Is there any other questions I can help answer for you?
One more quick question. What time on Friday do you have to leave? The vans have an availability issue with Friday, or with
Okay.
daylight hours.
Typically, they leave right after school.
Right, but I think we're going to leave around 5 o'clock. The students are going to leave after 5 o'clock.
In the barn by then?
They're back and see that they're signed out. There's another event signed out.
You can get back to us.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, next on the list is Ed. Come on down, Ed. Thank you for coming back.
Hi, Ed Blotzer, live at 308 Skyview Drive North, Jeanette, Skyview Plan. Most of what I have to say, I'm sure, will be addressed at the next board meeting. I didn't realize we were having a safety meeting at the next board meeting. My concern has to deal with safety. I've been watching with great interest, the business in Florida, and I have a few comments, and I do have them done for the board if they would maybe want to consider some of these. As you're going to go through your safety, I don't think I have enough, but you can...
I can make copies.
Yeah, do them. The big thing, and it was brought up again today, teachers in the school carrying guns. If that is to occur, is it going to be voluntary on the part of the teachers? If they are going to be armed, I would suggest at least police-level training for them. Will the district provide psychological evaluation for those people deciding to carry the guns? Today they were talking about you could have even custodians in the cafeteria lady carrying them. I didn't think it's a good idea.
Ed.
If the districts, if the
Interrupt you
district,
for 2 seconds.
yeah.
Would it make, again, I don't think anybody here is not going to want to hear what you have to say, because we appreciate you coming out, but would it make more sense to listen next week of what our plans are and see what fits in, or do you want to go ahead and present now? I'll just leave it up to you. It doesn't matter to me. We'd like to have you come back again.
I definitely will come back next week, because that's when it's going to be the safety issue.
Go ahead and continue.
Just a couple of things, maybe. I did check to see if a teacher or a custodian would decide to carry a gun in a school, to see if there's personal liability insurance available. I talked to an insurance broker. At this time, there is no insurance personal liability available to those people. If the district would choose to have magnetometers put at the front door, the metal detectors, that's fine, but you're going to need at least 2 people per magnetometer, and you're going to need that at each building. That is going to be a substantial cost to the district. I did work in a district where we had magnetometers at the buildings. You need 1 male and 1 female at each station, 1 to check the purses, 1 to watch the magnetometer. They are also quite expensive to use. During non-school hours, as an example tonight, you would have to have, if you're going to secure the building, harden it as they say, you'd have to check people coming into activities like this. It would be very easy for somebody to slip something in, put it in a locker, we're ready to go the next day. I have some experience with this. I've talked to several of you in the past. In my teaching career, I was in 3 drive-by shootings when we were trying to get the kids away from the school. I know what it is to get shot at. I was also in 2 riots. I do not want to see teachers carrying guns in the classroom. I think it is the dumbest idea going, because, God forbid, a teacher takes a shot at a guy carrying a gun, and little, cute as a button Susie pops out of a classroom and he kills her. I don't think there's any district or any individual would have enough insurance to cover that kind of a lawsuit. But I will be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Carly Duddy.
Hello, I'm Carly Duddy, and I live at 276 Timber Drive in Trafford. So I just wanted to give you kind of an understanding that the parents really want more transparency about gym class. I do a lot of technical writing in my job. I work in a regulated industry. I know how you can address or write kind of weak language to where you can say, oh, this should not happen, or this shall not happen, little things like that.
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt, the news person from WTAE, she when I put that out there, because I said as of now or something, she said, what does this mean? Because the exact same thing you're saying. And I did apologize to her, and I apologize to you.
Yeah.
We are not getting rid of gym, music, art.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So we definitely would like more transparency of what the plan is moving forward for gym class. If the children will still have their gym class weekly, who will be teaching it, what is the plan moving forward, things like that. I really think that it's going to affect the students negatively if they don't have a weekly gym class. I think it will especially affect the teachers negatively, where they have to plan for something extra. They're going to be taking that time away from where they could be planning things in the classroom. So definitely the parents want more transparency. Can you tell me when you would be laying out that plan?
We will have it out very shortly. I just have to meet with the gym teachers and staff, but you will have a certified gym teacher teaching your child, and it will be the exact same time, the amount of time as it was this year. Remember, this year for elementary gym, it's always been 30 minutes per week, and that's going to stay the same.
That's another thing. We also, I know a lot of parents probably feel that as well. I know some will speak after me.
That's not enough time?
No, that not necessarily that it's not enough
'Cause
time.
That came up too with a lot of parents. They were discussing,
But
I'm
it's
sorry to
more,
keep interrupting
but it's more that we would rather not have it be cumulative over the week.
No.
We definitely want that dedicated gym class.
Same time.
Not necessarily the same time. I hear you saying the same time. So we're saying not necessarily just adding on to recess or anything like that, but that it's a dedicated time to have physical education.
That's what, same 30 minutes. Nothing's going to change.
So will that be
Same 30
throughout?
consecutive minutes?
Right.
Okay. Was that
Is that
wanted to
is
hear?
that what the plan is?
That is the plan.
Okay. Because I really think that it will negatively affect the teachers if that is another added responsibility that they will have, and also the students, just because they need that dedicated physical education time. So that's all I wanted to say.
And thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Carly. I'm going to take a wild guess here. The remaining people who are signed up, I'm not going to prohibit you from speaking, but if you guys want to just answer any other additional questions in about this issue directly to Dr. Harris or me, myself, you can do that now, or we can continue on with each individual person. Or is there any additional questions regarding that we can answer?
So you said that you are going to make sure that you have the students being taught physical education by physical education teacher, which is great. And we all were so excited to hear that. But I'm hoping you're not taking them from the middle school or somewhere else that is going to trickle down, but we're still not providing physical education in another realm.
No, it's going to be the same. I have to look at the district staffing and the schedules.
So if you need to hire, we'll hire. We're not going to.
If we need to hire, we would hire.
Or somewhere else that they're required, or their physical education they're currently getting as well as health class.
There are some classes at the middle school that have very low numbers as well, so we can look at that too, when we're talking about looking at the whole picture of all the elementary teachers. I'm sorry, elementary gym certifications and PE.
Yeah, I have a question about, you're saying that they will be certified. Are you saying that
PE certified,
what?
physical education certified.
So not necessarily, the elementary school education would not be a fulfillment to teach physical education.
Correct, but they are, I mean, technically they are certified, but we're using a physical ed certification.
I didn't mean to jump the gun here. We have Ellen, Quinn, Stephanie, Michelle, and Amber. I will give you your time to speak if you like, but if we're addressing those questions, we could also go that route. I'll leave it up to you guys. Oh, thank you. No, that's okay. We'll go in order. So, thank you, Ellen. Quinn would be next then.
Take a minute of your time. Can't say I'm happy enough that we are going to stick with physical education, and we value that. But
Quinn, go ahead and start by saying your name, your address, and your...
Quinn Matz, 6011 Brookside Drive, and I'm a parent. Skylar goes to McCullough Elementary.
Thank you.
Picked this district when we were looking for houses because of a great quality education, and glad we're upholding that. So my daughter, if you would ask her how many times she was outside in the past month, how many times would you say? Like 5. So when we talk about physical education, 30 minutes is just scraping.
We had that, a couple other people mentioned the same, but they would like to actually have more.
Yes. So as parents, health, probably the #1 concern for our kids, and then a quality education. So I know we're talking about keeping it, but to be any more, anything we could add to it would be even better. So one of the things I was concerned of, like I said, is if you're moving people around, we still want to make sure we're not taking someone to the elementary and taking someone from the middle school. We still want to keep a standard throughout our district and continue to maintain status quo. And I'm actually going to work with Joe and try to get you guys some type of grant to try to get another classroom. We can get a little exercise during the winter months, but we for sure want to keep.
We'd appreciate that. I know indoor recess, after a while, the kids may like it the first day, but then that's...
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not good. So, and he knows. I reached out to him. It's something we had talked about. We're going to work on a wellness grant. Sure. Try to get some.
We appreciate that.
Yes. So moving forward, I want to try to help the situation, not just push it on you all, but also to offer some suggestions. So that's something that we're going to be working on. Hopefully this summer, and try to get a classroom where we can add to, not in place of. Okay.
I appreciate it. I appreciate any help that you can give.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Quinn.
Thank you.
Stephanie, would you like to speak?
Hi, I'm Stephanie Duddy. My address is 133 Elm Drive in Level Green. My husband Scott and I have lived in the district for 5 years. This is his alma mater. I graduated from Hempfield area. We could have lived any number of places, and this is the district that we chose, knowing that we would send our children here. We have 2 daughters. One will attend Level Green Elementary next year as a kindergartner, and the other is a few years behind her. Education is important to me. I am a teacher. I have 3 certifications. So as you may assume, my presence here tonight is in regard to some of the concerns that I've heard that have been less than desirable about potential program changes. This is especially frustrating, and quite frankly, it's angering when the reason for such a change is not believed to be educational but budgetary. As parents, we should never be facing a situation where our children have less opportunities or less exposure for their education than what we had available to us as students in the same district or in a surrounding district in this area. I realize that you have a budget to balance. I understand that you have tough decisions to make. I run a household. My husband helps to run a multi-million-dollar international business. I understand the position that you're in, but I also will not stand by and watch as developmentally necessary and educationally appropriate programs are changed without just cause or without every option being taken to provide our students the highest quality education, instruction, and developmentally appropriate techniques. I will also not stand by and watch as our teachers who care for our kids every day are treated with anything less than the respect that they deserve as educated and devoted professionals. This you can negate, but I'm going to read it anyway because I wrote it. Section 1202 of the PA State Code requires that teachers be certified in the subject area that they teach. And the PA State Board of Ed requires that all public school students K-12 are provided with planned instruction aligning with the academic standards for health and phys ed, as I'm sure you all know. You have to provide sufficient time and planned instruction for students to achieve the PA standards in health, safety, and phys ed, and while there is no state assessment, you have to have your own assessment. Given this information, and obviously our concern as parents, my questions are, how do you intend to accomplish this requirement while following these directives? And do you have intentions to make changes across the board to any other schooling scheduling in order to do that, as far as middle school, high school, et cetera?
No, the time would be the same at the elementary, middle school as it is now.
So you're not planning on changing your middle school schedule, class times, et cetera, in order to shift teachers around to get them where you need them to be when you need them to be there? Okay. All right, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. Michelle, would you like to speak, or are we?
No, my questions have been answered.
Thank you. And Amber.
My questions have been answered.
All right, thank you. Well, that's all we have. Is there anybody else who'd want to say something that didn't sign up? We're on the topic. Come on.
You don't mind,
Yeah.
since several people canceled. My name is Jason McCabe. My address is 21 Dover Road, Irwin, Pennsylvania. I would echo the fellow parents' sentiment here on the elimination or reduction in special classes. I think that's already been addressed. Unfortunately, Dr. Harris, I think you have a much bigger snowball that needs to be addressed, so good luck to you in that. Regarding safety, I would implore the board and the administrators, actually, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask, what is the school district's policy on firearms in the classroom?
You mean as far as teachers having them?
Anybody.
Anyone? We do have an SRO officer.
So you don't have a written policy that states teachers or students 18 or over cannot carry a firearm?
They cannot. Yeah, I thought you wanted to know who is allowed to have a firearm. And that we do have an SRO officer who's licensed to carry it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to be nice to everybody, give them a chance to speak on this physical education topic. We will be addressing the safety issues as we move forward, so I'd appreciate if you would just wait to hold those questions until after the board has had a chance to actually review this information and put some sort of plan together, present to the public.
If you don't mind, I have 2 quick points.
Okay. What are they related to?
Safety in the classroom.
Very briefly, please.
Thank you. I would implore you that you take a no firearms in the school approach when you guys are reviewing your safety status. I understand that the meeting next week or coming up will address that. The second thing is, I would suggest that the board looks to engage the services of a resiliency professional, those that assess infrastructure or facilities and determine an appropriate means to make them safe and resilient to not just guns, firearms, but other disasters, physical disasters. Those are all my points. Thank you for the time.
You're welcome. I saw another hand there. Was it regarding the physical education?
Yeah, I just had a question. Will we still have the same physical education teacher next year that currently with our students?
We do have 2 that's retiring, and then we also have to look at the schedule to make sure we can line everybody up.
So there's no guarantee that the PE teachers we have right now will still be the same ones next year, because it's under my understanding that they were notified that they will not be teaching in their elementary schools.
2 of them are retiring, well, with the people.
I'm not speaking about the
Oh, I'm
retired
sorry.
ones, the
Yeah.
other ones, the elementary.
That, we're going to have, it could be a schedule change, but they will still be teaching PE. I'm trying to at least keep everyone in a building that they was at for consistency.
So why were those teachers told differently?
Because that was on Thursday, and I said we reviewed the concerns, and I looked at the schedule, and I said, well, and I came up with this schedule Sunday. I said I can actually do a district-wide combination. A lot of times for PE, they can't be scheduled during lunch. The shift is like about a 2-hour block in the middle of the day that they can't, so that we always have like 2 hours a day where you can't have PE. So when we're actually restructuring it, if we actually schedule everything pretty much after lunch, it actually makes more, it flows for the elementary schedule.
So things have changed since what was told to staff last.
Yeah, I told Mr. Miller, for example, that he was going to be going to the high school all day, and now I'm going to have to look at his schedule and see what two schools that he could be at. So I did tell him.
All right, well, that ends our audience recognition. I thank you for all for coming out and voicing your opinions. We'll move to the PT representative. Mr. Rainier is not here this evening, so do I have a motion for adjournment? Motion. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody.